Artists can be managers. The key thing that I would propose is to be in a situation where you create an email address that would be separate, so people assume that you have a manager when you don't have a manager. When you are using that email address, just pretend you're very professional, that you're knowledgeable. You can ask as many questions as you want, be as dumb as you want, but also just, you know, because at the end of the day, as a manager myself, I don't know everything. Like, I genuinely don't know everything, and I think, you know, I'll sometimes ask really good questions. I'm like, oh, what does that mean, and how does that work, and what does that... So I think, you know, don't ever be scared of asking questions or finding out the information, but that's what I would do. But also just educate yourself, like, you know, read books and, you know, find mentors if you can find a mentor, like someone that's going to have that knowledge. You know, go to conferences, or there's lots of information on the internet now, so you can get educated on the internet through YouTube videos. Yeah, just anything that allows you to be educated, I think, is the key. Because at the end of the day, if you've got good business sense and an understanding of your own value, you should be able to manage yourself anyway. The main pros and cons of managing yourself is you can't disconnect yourself from it, and you can be emotional about it. So it can be quite hard, I think, to just disconnect, like not be able to see the whole picture, because of course your ego can get into it. And I think if your ego can get into it, then I wouldn't say to manage yourself, because if you feel like someone tells you the truth and you react in a bad way, then definitely don't manage yourself, because you need someone to protect you and to kind of keep you away from that. So it really depends on what skill set you have as a person. And then network as well, like networking is really important. But yeah, I think making sure you're self-aware to know, do I have the skill sets for this or not have the skill sets, and you don't want to damage any relationships. Many different sources of education of being a manager. I'm part of the Music Managers Forum in the UK, and anyone can join that from anywhere in the world. It's a membership fee, a monthly membership fee. I think it's £10 a month. But you have access to all the resources and any Zoom meetings we do, with any education, so connections into a lot of the streaming services. We've got resources on the website as well. Featured Artist Coalition, which is based in the UK again, but that's mostly for artists, and if you want education on the artist side of things. And then on management and kind of just getting information, I would say finding a mentor. So if you are coming from a country that maybe doesn't have the infrastructure and the industry that, say, other countries have, find a mentor in a different country and say to them, would you mind giving me, like, you know, chatting to me an hour every month? And most managers would say yes to that, I think, you know. So I would say do that, try and find a mentor, and they'll have knowledge that you might not have, and they'll be able to pass that on. So I'd certainly consider doing that. And then also just reading books, I think is really important as well. Like there's some great books out there, so just do research. And also YouTube, and I think there's a lot more websites and articles now on anything you need to know. So most of the main principles in music, so you've got your publishing, your records, you've got your live. You can probably get that from just Google, to be fair. So there's a great deal of knowledge out there. Follow managers on Instagram, on Twitter. Build a network. I think that's the most important thing, is building a network, and that will give you more knowledge as well. I think the time to get a manager is when the artist is in a point where the business is starting to bloom, as in financially it's getting to a point where the work is so much, you know, it's starting to work in many different regions. But you can equally take on a manager very early days as well. It depends on lots of things, but equally if you are at a certain level, then, you know, and you're dealing with, if the music has got so big in different regions or like in one region, then you just need to definitely think about taking on a manager at that point, because there'll be things that you might not be aware of or might not know, and someone protect you as well at that point, because there'll be so many more people coming into your journey. You'll probably be working with, maybe 7 different people who will be helping the project move forward.